Okay, we're going to talk about IBM Control Desk, Critical Capabilities, Section 3, Configuration Management. In particular, we're going to talk about Scenario A. This is the Configuration Items application. This shows our repository of infrastructure, applications, and configuration data. Click on Business Services and get different views over here in the queries. And we can select the billing application. So you can see from the tabs on the top, there's a summary, details, or related CIs, topology view, and work details. So here's the summary. We have a list of the business service members, the classification, information like that. We can go to the details tab, or we can see information like specifications, specific calendars for this business service, when its change window calendar is, what blackout periods apply to it. Interested parties shows people that are registered to be told about information about this configuration item when there might be outages or updates to it. Related CIs tab shows the CIs which are related to it. Here's strongly typed relations here, affects, contains, and so on. Topology tab shows a topology. We'll talk more about that later. And the work details tab shows open work against this CI. Let's take a look at another CI here. The main difference in this CI being that this is a piece of this infrastructure. It's a computer system, so it has different information associated with it. So on the summary tab here, one of the main differences is it might have an asset associated with a piece of infrastructure. So you can follow this link to go to the assets application, view things like warranties and purchase orders and things like that are on the asset side of the processes. And then the details tab, we have more sort of details around the configuration of this computer system, which is a little different than a business service. So we're back on the list tab of the configuration items application. There's different ways to see lists and views here. We have some predefined queries over here on the left side, authorized CIs, business services, CIs linked to assets. So you can filter in on things that way, see lists of CIs that way. You can also type in any of these headers information to filter based on the values of these headers of these columns. There's also the ability to look at more search fields. It brings up a dialog which has a lot of different fields in it that you can use to find CIs and produce different lists of CIs. Once you do find those lists of CIs or filter down, you can save your current query, so you can add to these saved queries on the left over there. You can type in where clause if you want to put in the SQL directly. Lots of options available here. Another option we have is that we have some reporting available here. Click on the Run Reports down here in More Actions. It brings up a dialog with a list of 10 reports for this configuration items. One of them is this CI linked to assets. So if we can click on this, and we'll just submit it now without giving any parameters. It brings up the results of the report, which is the CIs and linked to assets, and these are clickable as well, so you can drill in to get more information about a particular asset or a particular configuration item. Another reporting option we have is we have an integration with Cognos. You're actually entitled to use Cognos when you buy Control Desk. So let's look at some reports here for around configuration management, just to pick one of these. So here we see a report of classification and how many CIs of each classification. This is looking at a different system than we were looking at a minute ago, so different data here, but gives you an idea. So here's our knowledge center, and it has, you can see under the heading of integrating data, let me close the rest one. There's quite a few subtopics here. There's many ways to integrate the data here from Control Desk and use it from external systems. So there's REST APIs available. I wanted to show that as the example of how to pull data through an API for an external system. So here I have a browser that has a REST client plugin installed in it, and I'm just doing a GET call, and I'm looking for a particular CI, this billing CI, which is the application CI that we first looked at back at the first thing we saw. And here's the information that came back from that. You can see it's the billing business app here, and there's just all the different like status, all the different fields associated with it from the database. So this is an example of using an API to pull data from an external system to do reporting. We're talking about IBM Control Desk, Critical Capabilities, Section 3, Configuration Management, and in particular, Scenario B. So here we are in the Changes application. We're on a change here, change 1501, about installing a database server patch. We're going to add a configuration item to this change, database server that we're going to install it on. Okay, we know it starts with LPS. So there it is, the LPS database server. So now we Save that. We have the configuration item on the change. We can take a look at that in the configuration items application later. So now let's show a similar kind of capability in incidents. So here I just created a new incident. It doesn't have any configuration item yet on it. Let's add a configuration item to it. There's a business service, a loan processing business service that has an incident against it. Let's save that. Okay, so now let's go over to the configuration items application, and we can be able to see it from that perspective as well. So let's look at business services. Here's the loan processing. A couple different ways we can look at it here. If we go look at the topology view, we'll be able to see an indication that there's an incident on the loan processing business service. So there's that right there, the loan business applications. We see the loan processing and the indication that there's a incident on it. Let's hover over that and it'll tell us there's an open incident. We can look at the work details tab, which will show us incidents against this and other work items as well against this. Let's go back to topology. So if we scroll down here in this topology tab, we'll see here's that database server, the LPS database server. So it's moved to this CI. So we can look at the work details tab here. We can see that there's a change. This change that we just added it to 1501 is shows here in the work details. You can also see that in the topology view if you right click, view work details, and you can see it that way too. We're talking about IBM Control Desk critical capabilities for configuration management, and in particular we're talking about scenario C. We're talking about the ability to create a CDB from a subset of the IT information that's been discovered. We're here in the actual configuration items application. This application is one which shows data which has been discovered, as for example from the Tivoli application dependency and discovery manager application. Once that data is discovered by Discovery Tool, it's imported into Control Desk into these actual configuration item tables and applications. So we've picked on the actual CIs that do not have authorized. So these are discovered information brought into Control Desk that has not been promoted yet to the authorized side. So today we're going to show how you can select a subset of that to be promoted. So we just click on the select records and we can pick a couple of these computer systems, whichever ones are appropriate based on what we're trying to do, and then we can use the create authorized configuration items application over here. Action, and it has some options here. Run in background mode, which is a good idea if you're doing several, and then we'll just check all the boxes here to check for existing and update existing ones if we find them. And then you just click OK and it kicks off the process and gives you a message up here at the top. Another aspect of this scenario is to show the ability to use non-discoverable contextual information. So let's take a look. We'll select on this business process. We're back in the configuration items application, by the way, which is also I refer to this as the authorized CIs. So we're going to look at the relationships here on the related CIs tab. So these are the relationship types, and we're going to create a new relationship with a new relationship type to show the ability to create relationships that are not discovered. So here's I clicked on new row. So here's how I add a new relationship, a new related to the CI. In this case, let's go to the relationships application. Let's just create a brand new relationship. There's a new kind of thing we want to record, and we'll call the relationship supports. So we'll save it and we'll return with value. So we've created a brand new relationship type. So let's look for a piece of infrastructure that we can mark as supporting this business service. That's also a good choice there, a database server. So we've picked a database server, it has this new relationship type and supports our loan processing business application. We click save, and now we have a brand new relationship. We're going to talk about IBM Control Desk critical capabilities in configuration management, and in particular scenario D. So here we are in the configuration items application. I've navigated to one of the computer systems, and I'm on the topology tab. So what I wanted to show here was the ability to do what-if impact analysis in this topology view. So the idea being you're thinking about doing a change, having an outage in the infrastructure, and you want to know what else would take an outage. So that's this checkbox here on the right, show impacted. We can click on that and it'll highlight in yellow the items which are going to be offline. So here's our computer system here where we started. The checkbox, by checking show impacted, we're saying, what if I were to take this computer system offline? What else would go offline? And we see there's a CI there in the database swim lane, and in the business application swim lane there'll be 3 outages here as well. So the second part of this scenario here in configuration management is around the detection and escalation of misconfigurations. So for that we're going to go to the CI reconciliation results application. So reconciliation has a couple different uses in the product. One is to link authorized CIs with actual CIs, and another one is to compare or do an audit, if you will, of the authorized CI with the latest discovered values for that CI. So here I've run an audit comparison, and it's found one issue, and that's what I've just clicked on, and it's open and has the details about the issue here. So we can see that the CI over here on the left is CI object, and on the right an actual CI. So to remind you, the actual CI is the discovered value. The reconciliation analysis that compared all of the CIs with actual CIs found for this particular CI there's a attribute, number of CPUs, which has a different value in the CI, the authorized CI. In the latest discovery found a value of 2, whereas we have a value of 4 here. So you have some options here when you're looking at these reconciliation results. One is to decide that you know that this is okay because you went and looked at some change records or something like that and decided, and you can use this button in the bottom left, update CI with actual CI. There's more information down here, by the way, that would help you with that. So there might be some change work orders here. There are no changes, so you're a little bit suspicious. Why is it different? And then there's some history here on this attribute as well that might help you with, and if there's any previous results, they'll give you some insights into the history, what's going on here. Or you can create a record for follow-on. So there's a create action down here, and there's lots of different things you can create, service requests, incidents. So you can request someone go open a service request to escalate this further and to get someone to do an investigation and find out what the problem is. So let me just do that. So we click on it, it automatically puts the configuration item on there, and it gives a reason of, puts this result from the reconciliation exception in there, and you can have an opportunity to edit it, or you can just submit as I did. So the next part of this scenario was to talk about the automated reconciliation of changes in discovered state to baselines. So we have a CI baseline application, and this baseline is a set of configuration items that you capture their state when you are happy with everything is working correctly. So here we have a baseline I've captured of some critical computer system to support an e-commerce site, and you can see this button down here, compare with actuals. Again, the actuals are the discovered values. So it's just telling me it's going to take a little bit of time. There's a lot of CIs here. There could be a lot of work to do. So here's the results that came back. So it found some differences here in these CIs, and you can drill in to open up the details here for each one to see what's different about it and decide what you need to do, whether you need to open a service request to get someone to look into it. And lots of other information here about if there were CIs that couldn't compare because maybe there were no discovered values to compare it with, CIs that didn't have any differences, any relationship differences that were found. We're talking about IBM Control Desk, critical capabilities, configuration management. In particular, we're talking about scenario E. Here we are in the CI topology application, the configuration items application, the topology tab. See here at the top, CI topology. We're in the order management business service. So this is the visualization of the information in the CMDB related to the order management business service. So there's several techniques we've used here to help the users focus on the information thereafter and to reduce information overload. One is these swim lanes. These colored boxes, they have labels on the left here, and they have a color to them, they have an order, and they have a certain types of CIs, classifications of CIs, which are assigned to each of these boxes. We have a setting for this out of the box, but this is fully configurable by the customer. So that's the first thing that we do that helps organize the information, and it does a great job. As you can see, it brings you right to the computer systems and databases and stuff like that. Another thing we use is we have two views. On the right here, there's a business view and a detail view. The business view is a subset of the information, and we show the ones whose CI classification is marked to show in business view. We have a setting for that out of the box as well, but again, fully configurable by the customer. Detail view shows all the information in the CMDB, so we're not filtering any information at all. We're showing you everything that's in the CMDB, all the relationships related to order management. Now, do we really show all the relationships? No, we only show the ones that are related to order management. And how many do we show? Well, this breadth setting indicates how many to show. Right now it's set for 2, which means we start at order management. We follow one relationship to a CI, and then if it has another relationship, we follow it to the next one. So 2 relationship hops we go. You can adjust this as high as you want to see more information. Of course, the more you see, the more, the more information you have on the screen here. Another way to help filter down the information and deal with the complexity and information overload is to filter by relationship type. So you can click on one of these over here. Right now it was showing all, but I click on member of. You can see it highlights the member of and grays out the other ones. We'll click it back to all so they all get highlighted. Similarly with the classifications of the CIs down here, I can click on one of these classifications and it will highlight just those CIs in the view that are that classification. Let's scroll down to the computer system swim lane so you can see those. See, those are highlighted, and the rest are just left as white boxes so you can see the overall structure. We also have this viewer up here where you can grab and pull the viewer around to move yourself in the picture and see where you are in the overall picture. So many techniques available there. The second part of the question was around how this view can help you speed root cause analysis, incident resolution, and so on. So one big hint we give you here is these decorators, these orange triangles here. This indicates there's an incident open against that configuration item. So if you're coming in here and viewing you have an incident and you're working on a particular CI in that incident, and you come in here to view the topology view and you see some of those decorators, that tells you right away that's a problem area you want to go look at, because there's already a known issue, already an incident raised against that CI. That may be a cause of your problem as well. So you see that you can do a couple things. You can right click on that and you can view work details, which brings up a dialog showing you the incidents, problems, changes, or any kind of work that's on this as well. And here's the incidents view, this global view here.